What's going on, everybody? It's Sean and Sean here talking Giants football. Today we're going to be discussing about the Eagles game and how the outcome came. We're going to be talking about what our spot in the draft. We're going to be talking about the firing of Pat Shurmur. We will also be talking about Mara's press conference, and also we'll be talking about potential candidates for the next head coaching job for the Giants.
I hope everyone had a great holiday. We had a wonderful Christmas, and I hope you did too. And Happy New Year. Look forward to the new year for everyone, especially for all us Giant fans.
So, as of the Eagles game, Daniel Jones had a very, it was decent, but not that good.
Yeah, okay.
He went 28 for 47, 301 yards, a touchdown. He had one interception at the end and then two fumbles because the one fumble, it was considered two since he picked it back up. Bad snap by Jalapeno. We know how that went.
He's out for the year or two.
Well, yeah, luckily the year's over for him. Saquon, 17 carries, 92 yards, a touchdown. He had a pretty good game after that. He had that 60-something yard run.
67-yard run.
Yeah. So that was a good game for him. Another guy to point out, Caden Smith, 8 catches, 98 yards. This guy continues to be a solid player for the Giants so far, And I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with him this upcoming season. Golden Tate had 5 catches, 68 yards, and a touchdown. Also had a pretty decent game.
Great catch.
Yeah, great. He had a great catch, man. I mean, he did have some drops, but he made up for it with a great, spectacular catch. For this game, I mean, the Giants put up a fight and then near the end just kind of gave it up. But, I mean, the offensive line wasn't doing so well. I also thought Daniel Jones had some opportunities where he could have threw the ball away, but he decided not to.
He was holding on to the ball too much.
Yeah, and the receivers, did have some drops in the beginning, but they started to catch the ball better throughout the game. So the offensive side was a little shaky, but it wasn't too bad. But for the defensive side, the defense, it has to get better. I mean, the Giants need this offseason to make sure they get a better D-line because you have to have a good pass rush with the young secondary. And also, they also have to figure out, are they going to go back to a 4-3? Or are they going to stick with the 3-4? Because if you look in the past with the Giants, they have a better success with having that 4-3 defense because...
Well, in the past 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like Sean was saying, the past 2 Super Bowls, the Giants, when they won in 2007, 2011, they had a 4-3 defense. And you had O.C. Umiari, you had Tuck, Matthias Kiwanuka, Jason Pierre-Paul, Tolleson, Robbins, and all those guys. And then, you had really good pass rushers. So, that's what you want to get back to because I listened to Ernie Accorsi on WFAN about a week or 2 ago. He talked about when they won those Super Bowls, they had great pass rushers, and you have to have a good pass rush. Also, like Sean was talking about the game, it was really bad weather that game, raining.
Yeah.
Receivers were dropping balls, but there was some that they should have caught. But it was a very competitive game. It was 17-20 until that fumble happened, and that fumble with that bad snap by Jalapeno it was not a good snap, but Daniel Jones could have did a better job of holding it on, and that's the Eagles defense hit him. Fletcher Cox got it, and that B. Scott scored a touchdown. He had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He's all practice. He was on the practice squad. And what the thing about the game is the Eagles beat our defense with a whole bunch of guys that came up from the practice squad because the Eagles have so many injuries.
Yeah, most of the receivers are all hurt. Ward Jr., he played quarterback at University of Houston. He was having a pretty decent game. Dallas Goedert as well for the Eagles. He was tearing up that defense.
Plus, I think, too, our defense was tired.
Yeah, they were on the field.
Our offense, we didn't have much time of possession in the game. Kind of some of this play calling was a little bit suspect, especially on that
Yeah,
Fourth
the
and two or
fourth and
three.
two play. I mean, I think at that point Shurmur was just calling something just to call some. I thought it was one of the worst play
Yeah, it's
calls you could
terrible.
make because on that fourth and two, I believe they should have gotten shotgun and try to get a good pass and
Or do a
because
read option.
yeah, or read out or something. You know, I mean, the Eagles pass rush, the way they were getting after the ball. I mean, they were sending guys left and right. I
They had
mean,
eight or nine men in the box.
yeah.
You know, they
So
was challenging Daniel Jones to
yeah,
throw.
so they were forcing Daniel Jones to do his thing. Like they were trying to shut down that run game because they know how lethal Saquon Barkley is. But as a coach, you have to make those adjustments and call the right plays at the right time. I mean, if you see there's 8 guys, 7 guys in the box, get in shotgun, put extra protection out there or something. Put a tight end next to Nate Solder and Nick Gates, who's the young guy on the right hand side. You got to make sure you have that protection and have the uh, right set of guys on the field during that time.
Yeah, don't be afraid to run. I was listening to Carl Banks earlier today on WFN, and he talked about even though they have eight men in the box, don't be afraid to still run the ball. Have your blocking set up. Saquon Barkley is a great runner. Pat Sherman wasn't doing this. He did this like for a guy who's supposed to be a great offensive coordinator. I think he's a good offensive. He has lost some of his touch with his creativity and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't overcome. Just even if you lost one, two players to here, I mean, there's other coaches that overcome losing players to injuries. He just didn't, and he didn't inspire anyone, and the fans just wanted him out. And like John Mara said, it gets to a point where you just got to make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And John Mara made that decision this morning and said it was just time to move on. He said basically enough is enough.
Yeah, I mean, Shermer, I mean, for the Giants, as you guys know, he was fired this morning. Uh, he had a 9-23 record, same record he had with the Browns. I
Yeah,
mean, this guy has
same
never been
identical record.
a winner. And for this Giants organization, as you guys know, I mean, they don't tolerate with got like mediocre stuff. I mean, you see, look in the past, even with the players too. I mean, look at Landon Collins, who they released. Look, do you even see McAdoo having a job right now? I mean, there's a lot of guys that in this Giants team. I mean, when they release you, I mean, you know what the deal is. I mean,
Well, it's
you
like
move on.
New England because most of the people don't have as much success. Like when you're not with the Giants. Now with Collins, we know he was a free agent. We never released him.
Yeah,
He was
but
a
they
free
never brought.
agent.
They could have
Yeah, and
franchised.
I mean, I liked Collins, but he had problems in coverage, and that was his main situation deal here. That Dave Gettleman said, I don't think he'd be the right fit.
Mm-hmm.
But it's different now. We're gonna have a new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, new head coach, new coaching staff. You need good coaches to coach up these players. You can't get rid of all the players. So they got rid of the coach, but Dave Gettleman has to do a better job with his free agency because some of the free agents that he brought in, whether it was Kareem Martin and we got
Yeah,
Patrick
Kareem Martin was not a good. Patrick Omame,
and
Nate Solder. Even though I was high on,
I was very high on Nate Scherzer, just
he
like I
has
was high on Pat Shermer. I wanted Shermer,
and
but it just didn't work out.
yeah, none of these guys worked out for the Giants so far. But luckily, the Giants don't have. They're gonna have Odell Beckham's contract off the books. Eli's contract will be off the
Eli's
books.
contract
Norris
will be off the
Jenkins'
books.
contract's off the books. They're gonna have a lot of room. They're gonna be in the best set for this offseason. New coaching staff, lots of money in free agent to spend on quality guys, not just familiarity. And that's one thing the Giants with having Dave Gettleman, it's always been about familiarity. And I think familiarity is something you don't want to. You want to get the best available. You want to get the guys who you know are gonna benefit on the scene, like make a big impact. You can't just have guys that you've known in the past. It's got to be guys who have made an impact in this NFL.
Yeah, and another thing is Dave Gettleman, as John Mara had his press conference. Now, Steve Tisch wasn't there with him, but, it's 50-50 they own the team. And one of the things that John Mara said that Dave has to do a better job picking people.
Hmm.
And he's on a hot seat, Dave Gettleman. You know what I mean? It's no, oh, well, we got Shurmur there. I'm okay. No. He's on the hot seat, and he has to do a good job. And then whoever the Giants bring in as their new head coach is going to have to, Gettleman's going to have to work with them because some people say Gettleman's using old, stale tactics and all that.
Hmm.
But, you know, what John Mara said today, that Dave Gettleman has done a better job with analytics and revamping their whole scouting system, the college and pro personnel. So he said he has adapted to the new age of analytics and what's going on in front offices and stuff. So we're going to see, you know, I mean, he's hit 2 home runs with Saquon and with Daniel Jones, who is taking over for Eli. And I also want to say a thing. As you can see, I have my Eli shirt on. Sean and I, we always loved Eli.
Hmm.
He gave us great memories, and he's a class act. He's a great Giant. He will always be a great Giant. He'll make it to the Hall of Fame. But and he had a really good career. His time is gone. They're moving on from him. He's going to move on. We don't know right now what his future is. He said he's still looking, but we want to thank Eli for all the great memories and things.
Yeah, I mean, like for Eli Manning, I mean, I know my favorite 3 memories is like number 3, the Manningham catch. I mean, that was one of the one of the most accurate passes I've ever seen. The Plaxico Burress play was just that play itself, and then of course the David Tyree catch. I mean, all those Super Bowl plays, man. Those are the greatest memories I had with Eli.
And plus how he played in Green Bay and
the Hakeem Nicks,
San Francisco, how he played and took a beating but still prevailed, and the Giants won the game to go into the Super Bowl. He's a class athlete, and he will be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so shout out to Eli Manning, wonderful career. Now I want to get to the coaching. So the Giants, as you guys have seen on reports all over the place, I mean, there's reports.
Rappaport, Adam.
So there have been reports that the Giants are heavily interested in Matt Rule. There's also reports that the Giants are interested in Josh McDaniels.
Yes.
There's also Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy.
And then also the defensive coordinator, Chris Richard, for the Cowboys, or DB's coach. First, I want to start off with the number 1 guy I think the Giants are going after is Matt Rule. I mean,
New York guy.
Matt Rule, his dream job is to coach in New York. I mean, this guy, if you guys remember, Temple was a 1-11 program, built it up. They won 11 games or 12 games. Baylor was Baylor had so many problems. Now they're back to where they are now with RG3. I mean, they're back to being a top team because of Matt Rule. And I mean, this guy coming to the Giants would be like a dream come true, I believe. I mean, this guy, he's going to bring some guys from college. He's going to bring smart, intelligent guys to this team.
Stability.
You know? Yeah, and even
he has a CEO type.
And I know people are saying, well, the Giants need to get someone that's been in the NFL. I mean, this guy's been in the NFL. He's assistant offensive line coach for the Giants.
Yeah, he's with
in the past. But right now, I feel like this is the Giants' number 1 option, and I feel like he's going to be the next coach of the Giants. But we are going to see, because this is all going to be interesting to watch as you see guys see. I mean, Ron Rivera was one of my high guys, but he's about to be the coach of the Washington Redskins. So we're going to see what happens. The next guy is Josh McDaniels. If you guys remember 2 years ago, the Giants were going after Josh McDaniels. Like, he was their guy they were going to sign. But Josh McDaniels is a very offensive guided mind. I mean, he was under Belichick. He's doing a great job with what he's doing with Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, he's a smart guy. I mean, I know his head coaching wasn't the greatest, but he's gotten a lot better as he's been in the NFL. And I feel like this is my second favorite guy for the Giants so far. And I'm hoping if the Matt Rule idea, doesn't happen, maybe he could be that guy for the Giants.
Yeah, and to add on to what Sean was saying, now there's people that are weary because of what happened with Josh McDaniels. How he left the Indianapolis Colts at the altar. They already had a coaching staff, everything in place, and then he backed out of the job. So there's other organizations around the league that it really bothered them. They thought, I mean, he just treated the whole situation bad at the end. So that's something that's gonna might frighten teams away. But from reports, he's already going to be interviewing with the Cleveland Browns, of course, with the Giants, and probably some other teams. He's a smart guy, and we know he's from Ohio. And that's where, as you know, Cleveland is in the state of Ohio. So they're looking at him hard. And there's other guys that Sean and I talked about on the list too.
Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I know he's a good coach. I mean, I like what he's done with Kansas City, but you gotta also look. Andy Reid is also a great offensive-minded guy, so he's developed him as a great coach. But I don't think the Giants are gonna go this way, just because. But I feel like he will. If the Giants do bring him in, he could bring some great offensive-minded guys there as well, and also hopefully bring in a good defensive coordinator. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, and the thing with Bieniemy is he's an offensive coordinator, but the risk is, does he have experience running the team like a CEO? Because that's what you got to do, like John Harbaugh does, Belichick does, and then
even
Mike Tomlin does. Those are three guys that run their teams like a CEO, and they got great assistant coaches. So if they're out sitting on the bench talking to a player or talking to a referee or something, those guys could be right next to him running things. I mean, they have a lot of confidence in their assistants, and that's what that's what you want. That's what the Giants got to get this right, because McAdoo, he's an offensive guy, and so was Shurmur, but I don't think they were good coaches that can, like a CEO type, that can
like
run everything. You know what I mean? So that's what they need. They need a CEO type guy. That's what Tom Coughlin was. That's what Bill Parcells was. You know what I mean?
A very structured, serious guy.
Where if they was doing something else, their assistants can do something. Because that's what Bill Belichick does. He could be sitting on the bench talking to the defense.
Yeah, one thing I do like about one thing, if you look at Belichick, he lets his coaches coach. But if he sees something that he doesn't like, strange, or he doesn't like, he's gonna let them know, or he's gonna let the players know. So that's something I look for into the coach of the New York Giants. Like, I think for Matt Rule, is going to be one of those guys, and I think he definitely deserves. I think he should be the number one guy on everyone's list coming into this next season for a head coaching job. So we're going to see what happens there. There's also Chris Richard, which is a good. I mean, that guy. I'll tell you one thing. He is a smart guy on the defensive side. I think if he did come to the Giants, he could really benefit this team, especially making those young DBs become better than what they already are.
Give them credibility, work them up, coach them up.
Yeah, and then also bring in a smart, intelligent offensive guy. So we'll see what the Giants do with this head coaching situation. Right now, I'd say at least 70 to 80% sure that Matt Rule will become the Giants coach. It just depends on what he feels comfortable with.
A lot of the signs are going that way, like Sean was saying, but we don't know, right?
Yeah.
These guys are going to get interviewed. And then the Giants don't want to be left at the altar, because as you can see with Washington, they're already about to sign Ron Rivera.
Yeah, they're already making moves. And Cleveland's already trying to make moves.
Could be in Carolina, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, that's one guy, Mike McCarthy. I'm very high on Mike McCarthy. I feel like I know him and Rodgers, some things didn't work out so well. But I feel like Mike McCarthy should be like one of the top guys as well. I mean, the guy is a really smart coach, and he's really hard on the players. Like, he's a really serious guy, and he's really intelligent. So if the Giants somehow can get one of these smart guys like Matt Rule, Josh McDaniels, or Mike McCarthy, I would be fine with. I mean, because they're gonna have their things together. They're gonna be straightforward about everything. It's gonna be run properly. Practices are gonna be run properly. The locker room is gonna be run properly. Everything. So we're gonna see what happens there.
It's a breath of fresh air, and that's what they need in the building. You need a breath
Mm-hmm.
of fresh air. Somebody to come in and take charge, and somebody who's going to be confident. If you look at Pat Shurmur during his press conferences, he didn't look confident. You know what I mean? He's a
Mm-hmm.
nice man. I wish him well, but he didn't look confident, and the players look into that, and the people in the building and the owners are like, did we do the right thing? This is the second coach. There's two coaches that John Mara and Steve Tisch hired. Now they said, hey, we made mistakes. We want to get it right because John Mara really listens to his fan base. He really does. He reads their letters. He listens to them on sports talk radio. And the main thing that really irks him and bothers him and Steve Tisch is empty seats in
Mm-hmm.
the stadium. That
Exactly.
really just drives him
Yeah,
crazy.
and a couple guys like Jordan Renard, Art Stapleton, they've said like at the game there was almost more Eagles fans than Giants fans.
Yeah,
Like they took
yeah.
over the stadium. So that's something, as an owner, you don't like that. You don't want to see that. So bringing in the right guys is definitely going to make this team a lot better. Now, there's also it's a 50-50 thing with Dave Gettleman. Like we said, Dave Gettleman, Giants might surprise all of us and say, we're clearing everything. We're getting rid of Dave Gettleman too, but we'll see. I mean, Mara said, "Oh,
Yeah, he
we
said that they're
see."
going to stick with
They're
him.
gonna stick with him, but we'll see because the Giants did say that about Beckham, how they were gonna keep Beckham, and look, he was traded, and then all the stuff about all these other players. So we're gonna see what the Giants do. It's gonna get very interesting these next couple weeks, and then also leading up to the draft. We are gonna. I know for us, we're gonna be posting at least a prediction for the draft every week, like
Yeah, we're
1.0,
going to be
2.0
posting, and
every week.
also Dave Gettleman's going to have a press conference Tuesday morning, so that's going to be really interesting. Because the number one thing that me and like Sean and I know other fans and reporters around that that follow the team and work for the team in the newspapers, they want to know why. The number one thing I know they know is why did he trade for Leonard Williams and
Mhm.
give up a third and a fifth round pick when Leonard Williams was going to be a free agent.
Yeah, and like for me, when I look at when I saw the report come out, I was like, why did we trade for this guy? We already have a B.J. Hill, Dalvin Tomlinson. We also got
And
Dexter
he
Lawrence,
drafted, yeah.
and I'm looking. I'm like, well, I mean, this guy's on an expiring contract. We just gave up a third and a fifth. Why are we doing this? I mean, that's what good teams do not trade for guys on expiring contracts. They trade for top tier talent and things that are going to benefit their team. Leonard Williams is going to hit free agency and he's not going to get what he wants, especially it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't at all. I mean, especially for having the D line they have, they could just go keep drafting. You have to develop these guys. I mean, that's why they did fire Sherman because they're going to develop these guys with someone that knows what they're doing. And
Yeah.
I don't think James Betcher during the season knew exactly what he was doing. I don't think his defense was the greatest defense to ever be on this Giants squad. It was terrible.
Also to add to that is that there is possibility through your reporters and maybe some ex-players that follow the team that say that maybe Sherman didn't have a good coaching staff. That's a possibility. There really is. But there are other coaches who don't have a good coaching staff, but they work hard to coach up the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that Bill Parcells was great at, and that's what Bill Belichick was great at. Even Mike Tomlin. They coach up their coaching staff. You know what I mean? It's your job to make them better. As a head coach, that's they work under you, so you want them to be successful. So you got to coach them up. Maybe Sherman wasn't good at that. Yeah, he probably had some bad coaches.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't do a good job of coaching them up so they make the players better and have the players in better situations out there on the football field.
Yeah.
So we're going to see how it goes from here. Getting a good coaching staff from Matt, if it's Matt Rule, Josh McDaniel, Ron Rivera, whoever, Mike McCarthy, whoever, they need to get good coaches because Mike McCarthy already says he has a staff assembled already.
Yeah, and when he comes in, he's gonna bring his staff. I mean, it's gonna be cleaned house. Everything's gonna be fresh, new. So we're gonna see what happens there. Um, Last thing I want to get to is the draft pick the Giants have right now. The Giants have the fourth pick, which is pretty good for where. I mean, it's not bad, obviously, but it's pretty good where they're at. So the Giants have a couple options. I mean, you've got like me and my dad. Our number one guy is the off tackle from Georgia.
Thomas, yeah.
Thomas is a great player. We're gonna see.
Oh, he's a beast.
During this, we're gonna see the next day. I believe they play tomorrow. The next, I believe they play New Year's Day, but I'll have to check on that. But we're gonna see what they do. I mean, there's a couple guys, Thomas, and then the Giants. I mean, we don't know about Sam Beal's health, so the Giants could surprise us and go with Akuda from Ohio State. He's a great cornerback.
Well, I hope they don't.
Which I hope they don't, but we'll see what happens.
The linebacker.
Or linebacker from Clemson is also a number one option. Those are my top three guys so far. I haven't gone fully through the Giants roster, but I've seen a couple guys, and like the guys that stood out to me was Akuda so far. I mean, I watched Ohio State game; it was a great game. And then and then the linebacker from Clemson, I forgot his name, but he was I liked the way he played. He played a pretty good game, and I think him
Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, is he middle or outside? I think he's inside.
Yeah,
but if you could move him to outside as well, outside linebacker. But I think having these two guys, either one, Thomas or him, could really benefit this team. So we're going to see.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What was his name?
There's also A.J. Spence.
Oh, A.J.
Spencer Edge at University of Iowa.
Espinosa.
And we don't think they'll go wide receiver. Jerk Willis, offensive tackle, Alabama.
Iowa also has an offensive tackle that I like as well. So I look at I've been looking, but I'm not fully at the Giants roster. But the main things the Giants need to focus on, which I think if Matt Rule does become the coach, they're gonna switch to a 4-3. But what I look at is the Giants need to improve on having the outside linebackers, because you have to have, if you switch to a 4-3, you gotta have some guys that can cover. Because that's one thing the Giants don't like. Lorenzo Carter, he's iffy in the coverage. I think he's better at being like a 4-3 outside linebacker than a 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he can be switched in the middle.
Yeah, he could be switched because I think Ryan Conley is going to solidify that position. I think he's going to be the guy. We don't know, but he did pretty good in the first couple games he played. I mean, I like the guy so far, so we're going to see what they do there. D-line, D-tackle's fine. The Giants have D-tackle. They'll be fine with Leonard Williams. I mean, not Leonard Williams. Dexter Lawrence, B.J. Hill, and Dalvin Thompson. They'll be fine with them three, and then R.J. McIntosh. I hope he develops a little bit. They also got Chris Slayton from Syracuse. So we'll see.
Also, too, Sean, we don't know what's going to go on in free agency.
Yeah.
And then in the draft, there's going to be teams that are hungry for those quarterbacks. So the Giants is what? They're 4?
Yeah, so the first pick we know is going to be Joe Burrow.
Move up. So the Giants may only have to move back like 1 or 2 slots. They can pick up a couple draft picks because there's going to be quarterback needy teams that want to get Justin Herbert and Tua.
Yeah, and I feel like the Giants, if they really want to, they could move back. I'd say most 3 spots.
Yeah, you don't.
Most 3 spots. You don't want to move past that because there's a lot of good guys in this draft. I mean, there's really good offensive. There's good offensive linemen. There's good defensive linemen.
Good wide
receivers. I mean, the wide receiver position I think could be arguably one of the best, but we're gonna see. I mean, there's guys, CeeDee Lamb. You got T. Higgins. You got Justin Ross. Henry Ruggs, who I think could be the best. You got Jerry Judy. You know, there's a lot of guys out there. So we're gonna see what happens there. I mean, so far the Giants' wide receiver position, I think is solid. I think it's
I
fine.
think it's good.
I think it's fine.
If they get another receiver, they need another
Tall outside guy, or
Because
you
if
need
they
to get
just-
someone that's like really, really fast, so we could put them at. It's a returner. You could throw. I mean, you could just put them anywhere. Yeah.
Because you got Tate.
Tate and Golden. You know, I like both of them.
Shepard.
I mean, Tate. Yes,
and
Shepard. My fault.
And then also having Ingram. Just a side note, had his surgery.
Hope he's doing well.
Injury. So we hope he comes back strong because Caden Smith was doing a really good job.
Yeah.
Filling in, and I think he's a really good piece to add to the team for next year. But you need that explosive Evan Ingram too.
I know Evan Ingram benefits this offense. He makes this offense
offense
super explosive. And if you have him with Caden Smith and you got Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, and you got Darius Slayton, you're going to be fine. And then you also, I think the Giants should keep Latimer on a 1-year deal. I like Latimer. If he stays healthy, the guy is a pretty decent receiver. He's a good backup.
He doesn't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only problem with him. I mean, you know, the Giants, if you remember last year, Corey Coleman was a really good threat for the Giants, and then he tore his ACL. So we don't know if they're going to bring him back. It would probably have to be a veteran minimum. But so there's a lot of guys the Giants have. I mean, especially with Marcus Golden, I think the Giants should give him the contract. I mean, the guy, he had, I believe, 10 and a half sacks, 10 sacks. I mean, the guy, he deserves. He's been good this year. I like Marcus Golden. I like him.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to bring back Scott Simonson. I don't even know if they're going to bring back Red Ellison from what they've seen from Caden Smith.
Yeah, because you got to wait for this coaching staff. So a lot's going to be determined by whoever is the new head coach, and then how they work together with Dave Gettleman.
Yeah. So you guys have a blissful New Year's Eve, and hope you guys
drive.
Yeah. Don't drink and drive. Hope you had a great Christmas as well.
Like on the page.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my Twitter, my Instagram, or not my Instagram. I'm gonna leave my Twitter, and so you guys can see.
Like our page and subscribe.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys. Hopefully, I'm post a video tomorrow because Dave Gettleman will be having his press conference tomorrow.
So we gotta follow with that.
We will have a video out tomorrow as well, hopefully, and then I'm gonna keep an eye on this coaching. I mean, this coaching thing, it's starting to heat up now. And it's gotta happen soon because I know the Cowboys are about to release Jason Garrett most likely. They release him, they're gonna be on the road trying to find a coach. You got a lot of teams. You got Cleveland you're competing with. You got Carolina, most likely Jacksonville. You got a lot, if they, I assume they're gonna fire.
It looks like they might keep,
but we'll see.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys you got to compete with, especially like in the NFC East. There's going to be most likely 3 teams without a coach heading into this offseason. So
and you got to continue to develop Daniel Jones. So John Mara said it doesn't have to be an offensive coach. It could be a defensive coach too and a college coach. So remember that. He said that. So it could be a college coach and a defensive coach because the last 2 coaches we got were offensive guys, So they just got to find the right guy. You got to develop players, develop Daniel Jones. You got to get the structure back where the Giants are winning, get to the playoffs and trying to win some more Super Bowls here.
So you guys stay tuned, and I'll see you guys soon. Go Giants.
Go Giants. Good job.